Hello, Voynich enthusiasts. Hello, curious people. So someone asked about longer form content. I'm having some difficulty uploading anything over 20 minutes to YouTube, which is definitely a me problem. But I also find it a lot easier to use TikTok as a platform, just in terms of like quickly showing images and editing. So what I'm going to do is do longer form content, but do 10-minute videos. So I'll probably have like a part 1, part 2, part 3, and it'll be 30 minutes total, but 3 10-minute long videos, and upload them to YouTube that way. So last year when I started doing major deep dives in terms of ancient monoliths and ancient mysteries, my intention going into every single mystery was logical conclusions, and that's how that sort of became my slogan. I wanted to invite others on a journey with me to explore and examine our past ancestors from a more realistic perspective, a less romanticized perspective. When I started to translate the Voynich manuscript, I knew that I was entering this mystery with delusion, because to me, I said, well, how hard could it be? That's delusional. To think that you could solve something that no one has solved in hundreds of years is delusion, and I recognized that right away. I recognized that that was a part of this process going into it. When I started really looking into the Voynich, I was already making Irish connections just because of the text and how it visually looked. But as I went further into it, I had logical conclusions like, it would make sense that this would be Irish. Logically, it would make sense. This is subjective, but Irish is a harder language to learn than most Romance languages, and that would play a part in it not being deciphered. The language itself also went through major historical and political disruption, and it was suppressed for centuries, which could be a reason why it hasn't been deciphered in so long. The text visually has connections to Cisalpine Celtic, Ogham, and even Gaelic. And this is all not to mention that Ireland be having a lot of green rivers. Ireland be having a lot of little fairies. Ireland be having a lot of little dragons. The manuscript was also found in Italy. Italy and Ireland have so many connections, especially during this time period, in regards to Catholicism and friars and nuns and pilgrimages. It is not unreasonable to think that this would be Irish. In fact, some can say it's quite logical to think that this would be Irish. In addition to all of this, one of the most important logical conclusions that I made during this process is that it can't just be the text that makes this difficult to decipher. There has to be other elements that are making this difficult to decipher. Political, academic, systemic, there has to be other reasons. There's something called eisegesis within translation. This is when a translator's own agendas and biases slip into or leak into the text. It's often used to justify the translator's own position. So this text doesn't have any punctuation marks, and I want to talk about that really quickly. There's this old joke about commas, where a koala eats, shoots, and leaves, or a koala eats, shoots, and leaves. And those are totally different sentences, all dependent on punctuation. There's another example that someone informed me of in Germany. They say, let's eat, comma, grandma, or let's eat, grandma. Totally different sentences, all dependent on a comma. One can argue that a text without punctuation automatically requires eisegesis, meaning that regardless of whether or not the translator adds punctuation, one can argue that the meaning of the text is still up for debate. And this virtually means that no one can have a valid translation of this text, because technically no one can avoid eisegesis. This is one reason why in all of my translations I include the raw translation first and then my interpretation. I always have the literal translation without any punctuation, without any embellishment first. One of the many reasons why I know that I don't have eisegesis influencing my work is that I did not know what a coachog was. I did not know what a coltsfoot was. I did not know what a crowfoot was. I did not know what a braggot was. These things came up through translation alone, using my lexicon. I did not seek them out. I became more knowledgeable through translation. These are not my agendas or biases. My entire process has been documented. My entire process has been logical. The fact that I do have Irish heritage and I'm critical of systems and I dislike colonizers should not be a reason to invalidate the work that I've done. I was feeling disheartened today, and my friend said the perfect thing in a text message. She said, "It's your conviction that matters the most." And that's all I needed to hear. This work is linked to the Celtic language. This work is linked to the burn. This work is linked to the cliffs of Moher. That's all I got for you. Be blessed, stay grounded, stay logical, stay curious.